episode of the Courage Talks. I have with me Miss Mafae Belasco. Can you tell us a bit about Mafae and your family setup?
Yes, of course. And for the ones who are new, hello to Polish community of Karsh Talks. I am Mafe, to be exact, Mafe Yunon-Belasco, and I'm very proud of my journey, especially the blessing of my family from God. And it's not an typical or ordinary family, but what does that
Mm-hmm.
mean
Mm-hmm.
anyway? What is
Mm-hmm.
ordinary? What is typical these days? So, as Polly mentioned, composite or even non-traditional, my family is consists of a total of eight beautiful souls. Okay, so for me, I am a bonus mom, and what does that mean? My two eldest sons are, you know what they usually say if they're not blood or you're married into it, is your step, right? Your stepmom, your stepchildren. But I'm so happy to hear that there is a positive title, which is bonus mom and
Bonus
bonus kid.
mom.
So I'm a bonus mom for my two eldest, Nico and Mike, and then of course Moses was my first physical birth baby, and then our only daughter, Nikki, and then our I guess our bonus from God, but they're not my bonus children; they're really my children.
Mm-hmm.
Noah and Mello, was a 7 years gap from Nikki, so I think
Mm-hmm.
we were meant to have the many children to take care of because I love children and I feel as though I have a natural maternal instinct, and
Mm-hmm.
Nick does too, his paternal instinct. But yeah, in a nutshell, we're a family of eight, and I love every minute of it. Sometimes it's challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Moms, parents know that, but it's part of the journey. I cannot imagine my life without them.
Thank you, sis. And for people tuning in the very first time, I want to assure you that this is not the first time Mafe and I talked about her family. This is probably like the nth
Oh
time.
yeah.
And the reason for that is I myself is in that position, just like you, where it's also a composite family. And we see composite families, but we rarely talk about it from the
Mm-hmm.
perspective of the mother or the bonus mom. There you go. Usually we talk about it as a whole in general, understanding the structure, but no one really asks a bonus mom how the journey was. And that's what I want to talk about today, Mafe. The story that really stayed with me was again when you were in
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland. And I know that there was a part that he parted your hands, like, this is my dad, this
Mm-hmm.
is you, okay, no holding hands here.
And Nick and I was just doing our normal thing, as people in love, and we're very PDA because it's just how we are, and yeah, we just didn't think about it, we just held hands as we usually do, and he comes Nico, just like comes in the middle and just like separates our hands, and we're just like, oh yeah, okay, it's different right now, we have to be mindful, we have to be respectful, and it's something new for him, and so
Mm,
Nick really had to talk to him and have him
mhm,
understand that,
mhm,
I love you and your mom loves you, but you just have to know that we don't love each other. And
mm,
for a 3-year-old to
mm,
understand that, so it's
mm,
like, oh my gosh. And then having his dad introduce me, for him at this as a 3-year-old, they don't understand that kind of adult situation, right?
right, right.
But the love that he was showered with, he
Mhm,
then started to understand. And for me, I never really pushed myself or forced
mhm,
myself to have a relationship with him. It was just
mm.
natural.
That's a good point.
I just pretty much shared that, I love your dad and I'm here for you. Yeah.
So when you said that I did not force myself,
Mhm.
that requires a lot of wisdom to understand where your boundary is.
Right. Well, in the beginning, Nick knows this, I was very iffy, or I was unsure of what our
Mm,
relationship
mhm,
like, because
mm,
I knew that he had children. I knew that he had a previous marriage, and and that was his business, right? But for me, I was really looking at, okay, am I going to be an instant mom? Like, is that what I
mm,
want? Is
mhm,
But as our relationship grew, and I knew that in my heart that this guy truly cares for me, and I feel as though he is my soulmate, and that
Mm,
I just have to accept everything. Like, when you
mm,
accept everyone, like another person's baggage,
mm,
there's a commitment there.
mm,
You know,
mhm,
I'm not gonna fault him because of what he had before,
mm,
because he's such a good guy to me,
mm,
you know.
mhm,
And I knew that I had to also face that and make my family understand that, because my family
mhm,
was very strict Catholic. They didn't,
mm,
they
mhm.
some of them
Yeah.
believe in divorce. They didn't believe in, like, being a step parent or whatever like that. Going back with the kids, I knew that I had to do my part,
Okay.
and I knew in the long run I'm good with children, and
Right.
especially if it's my husband's kids, like the more I'm gonna be there for them,
Mm,
and I didn't
mhm,
have children yet. They were my
mhm,
pretty much my first
mm.
um,
Wow.
sons.
Let's talk about your family because you mentioned that, your family's, Filipinos are Catholic and conservative.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yes,
throw in all the
yes.
qualities, they're a Filipino. Was there absolute acceptance at the onset, or was it more of like a conversation, negotiation, showing that this is really the path that you want to take? How was it like? Was it turbulent or was it very loving and accepting? If you can
Oh my
describe that
God.
for me. Kasi,
It's a
di
roller
ba yung
coaster ride.
alam mo naman yung Filipino family when it comes to
Yeah.
that, di ba? Nagkakagulo. Sige,
No,
go.
of course. In the beginning, I love my family. I know that they love me and they want the best for me.
Mm,
And of course, there was a reputation also for, basketball players, and this and that. So Nick already knew that he had to prove their assumptions wrong.
mhm,
And I already knew him, right? So
mm,
he would always be very confident to say that your parents, your family, they're gonna love me. I'm gonna take
mm,
care of you. So for me, I was nervous because I knew my parents, I knew my family, I knew that they're gonna react a certain way. But I also had confidence in the man that I love, that what he will say is gonna be true.
mm,
So I know my parents knew that I already lived my life to the fullest.
mm,
It's not like I made a scandal or something. I
mm,
already passed
mm,
up my crown when
mm.
Nick and I really showed the world that it's us, and even, created a beautiful son
Right.
together.
So they're
So,
confident that you live the life that you want to live and that you
yeah,
have
I
shown
did
to them too
all
that
the
you
I all I finished college. I even
yeah,
represented a
yeah, in
country.
check mark.
Come on.
Yes.
Like, what else can I do to prove to you that I have been a good
Mhm.
person, I've been a good daughter. But I mean, regardless of all those achievements, I know that it was the education and just me just being um sticking my ground,
Right.
because my life is always kind of, this is done, next. This is done,
Mm,
next.
mhm.
So school, and then high school, then I went straight to college. Whereas in Australia, the culture there too, a lot of the students, high school students, take a 1 year off,
Yeah.
travel the world
Yeah.
backpacking, and then they go
Mm,
back to college. Me, I finished everything. And then when I decided that I was going to go to the Philippines, I did that.
mm,
I did the
mhm.
Bini, I did Miss World. So after that, what was next?
Right.
And
Sis, I want to ask you this with the wisdom that you gained through the years and with the different roles that you have in your life, what is
Mhm.
your take now if you were to join that pageant then again, like before your young self, but you have to
Yes.
mother yourself at that time? What
How
support do you
funny.
think you will need at that time?
Well, I feel as though I was really lucky.
Mm,
The time that I joined, and the time that I grew up. The distractions would probably be just playing sport. I mean, I
mm,
did not have gadgets. I didn't have
okay.
social media, so my core was stronger than what it is now. There's so much pressure for
Mm,
girls right now. I was a lot stronger than some of the girls that were in the Philippines because I had that experience. And my mom was a strong woman, so I had that mentorship. And then my
okay.
auntie, Desiree, who also joined Binibini back in '84, and her fellow sisters, the senior models like Marlene Espino,
Mm.
Marina Benapayo, Jem Padilla, they all were my guide there, and that's strong women. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
they were like the seniority of the supermodels in the Philippines.
Mm.
So me being guided by all these strong women allowed me to understand my strengths also joining the pageants. Now that I, was somewhat successful in that experience, I dedicated giving back to make sure that I can guide the future girls that we represent, or even up until now, building Mafae management was for that intention. And it heightened because I had my own kids. Look back and see how I would change things.
Mm.
I wouldn't say I want to change anything because I became stronger from that experience. Surrounding myself with, again, like I said, the right people and identifying who wasn't right for me,
Mhm.
like that quick, I
Mm.
was super blessed to get out of certain situations, you know? But in today, this modern world, it's harder for children. It's harder
Mm.
for the youth. And I want to say it's also difficult for adults because of many distractions. They don't know or understand how to balance it, how
Mm.
to build their self-esteem in
Mm.
certain environments. I mean,
Mm.
of course, my company is also online branding.
Mm.
Every day I'm on social media because that's
Mm.
what,
Mm.
the language I wanted to understand them because that's going to be my kids' language. So
Mm.
how do I connect with them, right? But then I turned it into a positive where I support people,
Mm.
support companies that need, the strength in it because it's also overwhelming,
So
right?
I'm looking at it
So
that you're lucky to be surrounded by really strong progressive women,
yes.
and it felt like that shaped who Mafe is, and that kind of
Mhm.
created the necessary caution when you move
Yes.
into building a family that's considered composite while also being a public figure. Because I mean, in
Yeah.
natin, the Marites at that time, because parang,
Oh yeah.
tell me, oh yun, let's move into maritesing. So, yung pagmamarites naman, I mean, that happens everywhere, even here in Switzerland. They
Yeah.
look classy lang because they go to coffee shops or tea shops. But if you listen into the conversation, then, it's really the classic maritesing.
Yes.
What was the worst marites
Mhm.
or chismis you've heard about you when you were still in the Philippines?
Well, they love blind items, chismes. So
Go.
when
Tell
Nick and
us.
I first started dating, and it
Mm,
was of course the peak of my year and also the
mhm,
peak of his career.
mhm,
Nick was never really in the limelight. They knew him as a really good basketball player, and
mm,
then somehow, some way, they linked that we were seeing each other or dating or talking. So there was a blind item put on the newspaper that. Basketball cager. They like to use that cager title. I don't
okay.
know. And a beauty queen are dating, you know. But they knew that Nick was married, so I was in titled as a mistress, his mistress, or something like that. And so many times, talk shows were also knocking
Mm,
on the door, going to his practice, asking for his statement, and he would deny it. Like if it's not related to basketball, I'm
mm,
not talking to you. The funny one was back then there was a lot of blogs, and it was funny because my dad started reading them and started replying to people that were
oh my
talking
gosh.
like
Talaga?
nonsense about me. Yes.
So
So I had to tell
nakikipag-away
my dad.
sa'yo.
So I said, Dad, I said, Pa, just ignore them. Don't worry. Like, we know the truth. Like, don't worry about it. But it was just funny. He was like, no, they're talking about my daughter. So for me, it never really bothered me. I embraced
Mm,
it. I was like,
mm.
wow, I must be doing something in this world to be talked about.
And
So,
I think the weapon, just like how you said it, you
yeah.
embraced it because you can deny, you can run away
Yeah.
from it, but you embraced it and go with the flow.
Yeah.
Kasi alam mo
It's
naman na
funny.
Okay, ito yung news today, and I'm sure like a week after may isa na namang news, and then this will just die
Yeah.
down. Who gave you the
I
training?
mean,
Is it the same set of
it's the
women in your life?
it's human nature for people to maritas all the time. I mean,
Hmm,
I'm guilty of
of
doing that,
course.
but it's just part of life. Like, sometimes people just don't know what to talk about, or they're going through something, so they want to hear other people's challenges.
Yeah.
Like that's why I watch reality shows. I mean, reality
Mm.
shows are,
Mm.
you witnessing other people's challenges in their life.
Marites. It's
Exactly.
Marites
It's
in
the
Netflix. You are surrounded with the people in building your self-esteem and self-belief. Like
yeah.
to have those progressive women around you, that's
Hmm.
that's rare, right? What a chance to have, to be surrounded by those amazing women. And na-feel ko talaga, because mahirap kasi siya, math, to feel ko ha. Mahirap kasi siya to stand firm and really own being in a composite family if you don't have a strong gut,
Yeah.
because there will
Hmm.
always be the self conversation of, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Am I doing too much?
Yeah.
What are the three things that you think would be of great help to them? Mm-hmm.
Yes. For my first one would be whoever your partner is.
Mm.
The commitment, the promise, the love has to be the priority. You loving your partner is already enough. Your partner will then appreciate you and respect you because they will understand that they're putting you in a difficult position. You don't have to be there. You have the
Mm.
choice, actually. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if you really love your partner enough, then you'll be patient with everything, right? And then second, allow the family to bloom naturally. Don't force your partner to spend more time with you. The children always
Okay.
come
Mm.
first. Because when
Hello.
you
Say that again. Say that again.
respect,
I need to
yeah,
hear that. Say that again, please. Say that again, please, because
you
that would really be helpful.
you have to allow your partner to spend time with the children. You cannot compete, because you are already loved by your partner. But when the children are there, you just have to allow them to be there for them. Because when you force the issue or you argue with the kids that, hey, it's my time with dad or it's
Mm,
my time with mom, it's not going to be a peaceful home,
makes sense.
because the kids are already feeling a missing piece when their mom and dad are not there. So
Mm.
why are you trying to take that time away?
Sis,
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
going to the third, I like that
Mm,
the word competition, because truly it was also my personal struggle to
yeah,
hindi mo naman mata-time, right? Like
yeah.
kung kailan
I
ka
know why.
papasok,
I
hindi ka
know why.
papasok. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I know
Yeah.
why.
Say it.
I know why you think that way because I was also spoiled. I had
Mm.
Nick to myself.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure you had your partner to yourself, and you love that moment. That kayo
Of
lang.
course. True.
But at the end of the day, we also say yes to this. We
Right.
knew hindi lang
Right.
siya that we have to accept.
Right. Right.
you know
Exactly.
so when I would have that time one-on-one, yeah, take advantage. Tayong
Mm.
dalawa lang, no? But as the family grew and then I see, my birth kids close, very close with their kuyas, the older
Mm.
brothers, I was like, this is what I committed to.
Mm.
you know the children themselves are their own tribe. Like,
They are
they
their
I
own
know,
tribe. They can
yeah,
really
they're
gel
gonna.
together. So
Oh
good luck to
yeah.
you if you're gonna break that. Totoo, totoo, totoo.
But that's the thing, that's what we want, I want, because I had siblings. Nick's only
Mm.
child.
Mm.
I miss my brothers each and every day. So I know that it's always going to be such a fun time when they're all together,
Mm.
or reunited, when, eventually they will have their own life to live,
Mm.
right? So for me, the third one I was gonna share is that be kind to yourself. Have some me time when you need it. I know a lot of us are clingy to our partners, but when you have your time and you find strength um, within you, it becomes even a healthier
Mm.
relationship. And
Mhm.
I keep mentioning, find your mentorship. No
Mm.
matter how strong we are, we need support.
You
I'm
do.
first to say that. And Paulie knows this. I'm a social butterfly.
Mm.
I find strength in doing events,
Mm,
doing, partnering with people, having conversations like
mm,
this. So if that's your jam, then do that.
mm, mm,
For me, I intentionally bring my family to that so they experience what I do.
mm.
But you need that me time to bring back and bring excitement to your family. You need to always remember that you were someone. You built yourself to this point to find an amazing partner like this.
The words that really stayed in my heart today: no competition, let
Yes.
it bloom naturally, love yourself. But these
Hmm.
three things really stayed with me because I think, regardless of whether you're a bonus mom or a mom, you need
Hmm.
this. These are the three
Exactly.
things that all moms go to when things no
Yes.
longer make sense, or when they start doubting about their own capacity as a mom, or to be able to mother a family or the kids.
Just to add, lately I just saw one of my friends post, and it was a question to her followers and community. What would you rather? Would you rather stay with your partner and have no more feelings, and your reason is for the kids, or
Mm,
would you rather
good
live
point.
separate lives and be happy
Mm,
and just live in separate homes and share the children? What is your take on that? And a lot of people had their testimony, and they shared that I would rather my parents happy than
mm,
have this meaning of just staying together for the kids,
right.
because the kids know, you know they know if it's a happy home or you're just forcing it.
Mm,
There's no point, and this might be going against what the belief of my family, but at times children grow up challenged, depressed
mm,
because of the unhappiness they see
mm,
from the parents. And then they start thinking that, gosh, I have no choice. Whoever I choose, I'm stuck,
mm, right.
you
True.
know? So for me, the love that Nick and I show, I know that's where we're passing on confidence to our
Mm.
children, because home is love.
I like it that you're brave enough to say it as is, because majority of the
Yeah,
people watching this will probably not be happy because of the culture that we both share.
right.
But it has to be said, and you were right about kids know, even if there are no
Yeah,
words, they can sense you. Kids are very, very sensitive to how their parents
yes.
behave around each other.
Mm.
And second, you're right about, when a home is not happy, kids have the tendency to personalize it and even think that it might be their fault why this is happening,
Yes.
or or do something to correct the situation. Kids will just observe the parents and say, what can I do to correct this? This is when you see kids refereeing between two adults, which is
Hmm.
unfortunate because definitely it's not their place to do that. These are kids that require
Right.
guidance and not them refereeing. If they need, not if they need help or wants to have a share of your wisdom so that they can also
Yes.
use that in their lives or in their journey, where can they find you?
Oh, I'm definitely passionate on supporting everyone, or any age. So just come and visit. I mean, I think the best form of just really connecting is Instagram.
Mm,
Simply look up my name, Mafae Yunon-Belasco. I made it easier for everyone. For me, I reach out and just ask, "How are you?" But really, it's intentionally sparking up a conversation because I need them.
mm.
You
Not
know.
just a how are
So
you,
alam
how
mo
are
na,
you,
when I
but
when I
let's
say,
talk.
"Hi, how are you,
True.
Polly?" You know na, "Oh, Mafae needs me."
No, kasi
But that's the
nangyayari
thing.
sa atin yan, di ba, organically, like nag-hi, hello
Yes.
ka na, and then the conversation happens, na parang, oh, okay,
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, I
Uh-huh.
believe in intentional hellos talaga,
Thank you for that.
because I
Guys,
think
Polly is also one of my strong mentors that I keep close to me kahit nandun siya sa mountains in the Alps.
mountains of Zermatt, gano'n. Oh my God, sis, thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing this personal experience, your personal journey to a bigger audience. I know people will resonate with your story. And if you feel that you resonate with the story, you can communicate directly to Mafae. Mm.
and to connect. You're not alone, and that's something that I really shout out loud, because there is a tendency of feeling like you're in your own island, but sorry, you're not. Sorry, not
Not
sorry.
at all. Not at all. I found my Care Bears, and that became my safe
Yes.
space. And then now
And,
for some
and going back to that, you just reminded
uh
me, our belief as the Care Bears and, sacred space holders is that you are at the right place at the right time with the right people.
but thank you. Thank you so much, Mafe.